Hello, Buddhas. Today, we are going to be talking about what everything comes down to. That's it. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and commenting, and hitting that bell notification. But if I've still got you, breath is literally life. And I don't necessarily mean the act of breathing, but I do think that it's extremely important. What I'm referring to here is actually a concept that the wind, the air, the oxygen, the environment, this solution that we are in is spirit. It is the sustaining physical force, shall we call it, that is us. Or at least, in my interpretation, the air we breathe is the closest thing that we normally interact with to spirit and a higher self and a higher understanding. And that really comes down to how we breathe. Now, a lot of spiritual teachers and a lot of meditation practices and a lot of different trips and techniques talk about controlling the breath. Focus on the breath, the inhale, the exhale, the slow, the rhythm, the entirely forgetting that you are breathing, which happens throughout the day normally, and then the realizing that, oh my gosh, I'm breathing, or is something breathing me, or where does all this air come from anyways, and how does it not fall off the planet? All these incredible things really come down to an energy exchange between spirit and our bodies. We are here to explore, to enjoy, to feel and be felt, and to interact with one another and the physicality of all of this in a way that spirit, or the wind, simply cannot do. So it would be a hell of a disservice to this infinite magical substance that is surrounding us at all times, unless you're like, I don't know, like in a submarine or something and you're wearing a breather and you're just covered in water. Like, yeah, you're in a different substance, and that substance itself has its own magical properties. We'll get to that eventually. But the practice of breathing is so underrated, especially in our Western civilization, where we just go like, here's some medicine and let me cut that thing out of you. Oh wait, but has my patient been breathing properly for the last 75 freaking years? No? Oh, you smoked a pack of cigarettes every single day and now you have lung cancer? Wonder how that's related. You can come up with any scientific reason at all. And I'm going to use smoking as a great example. It's a great way of getting sick. If you want to smoke, go ahead. Make yourself sick. Because what you're doing is you're futzing with the connection between your beautiful and magnificent body and spirit, which is beautiful and magnificent. And you're putting something between that. And that something is not the problem. But your dependency on it and your lack of respect for the spirit that is actually coming in through it is where the problem lies. Now, there's the other end of this equation, which is people like Wim Hof, who have an incredible breathing practice of 30 normal breaths, or somewhat normal but in a rhythmic controlled pattern, and then emptying your entire system of air and holding it. He has some meditations like that, I'll try and link some below, that are absolutely incredible. And I recommend trying them, doing them at your own pace. It's never about who can hold their breath the longest or who can breathe the most. No, we're not trying to hurt anyone here, but it is about the control aspect. And I think that's what Wim Hof really tapped into. My personal thing that I enjoy doing, which I'm not sure if it's right or wrong, but it's something that seems powerful to me, is to bring in my breath and to hold my breath and fill my entire expanse of my body with as much breath as possible, much air, and to saturate myself. and then to release that and to feel those differences in sensation. And when you start to practice with your breath, you're going to get to a point where you're going to have a discussion with, I like to think of it as my higher self / the air. And that point is, do we breathe? Or do we not breathe? And you may think, I can't hold my breath for very long. But that's because you haven't tried. People have set records for holding their breath for minutes, multiple minutes, while underwater. So I personally don't think that it's a limitation that any human has physically. I think it's very much a headspace thing. Now, I don't want anyone to cause harm to their bodies, so please consult with a medical professional, I guess I should add here, so that y'all can't sue me. But it is extremely fun, in a safe way, to hold your breath and to practice and to stretch those muscles. It's like going to the gym. So what I like to do, sometimes in a meditation, sometimes if I'm bored sitting at my desk, I just want to change things up a little bit, I'll focus on my breathing for a few minutes. And if you hold in a breath or hold out a breath, both extremes, I'm not sure which one is more beneficial or not, but what works for you works for you. When you take that initiative to either set your breath to none or set your breath to full, I like to think of it like a gas can on a car, you will get to a point where you're holding it, and a little voice in your head's going to say, okay, you gotta breathe. You gotta breathe. I need the air. You gotta breathe. You gotta breathe. You gotta breathe. But that voice is very premature. It's designed, I think it's the ego in a lot of ways. It's designed to keep you alive. And that's a good thing. Don't hate on the ego. But you can push it just a little bit, right? If you're at the gym and you're like, okay, I normally take 20s, but today I'm gonna take a 25, and your body's like, oh, that's so much heavier. And you're like, yeah, but we can do it. And it feels really good to do it in a certain amount, not to go crazy. But if you can hold your breath for an extra 5 seconds or 10 seconds or whatever, and you can extend that and to practice that, you're going to start to feel a sensation that you are taking control of your entire beingness. And I am just starting to tap into this. I am just starting to dwell with it. But my homework for all of you Buddhas is to try and see how long you can either hold the air in or hold the air out. Both interesting aspects, not sure which one you'll prefer. I know what I prefer. And let me know down below how long you can do it for. Not a competition, it's your own self-benchmark. The greatest basketball player of all time, Michael Jordan, said he didn't compete against others, he competed against himself. So, set a benchmark, practice this once a day. It doesn't have to be your whole new life. I'm only going to focus on my breathing. But pay attention to it once a day, and I can absolutely guarantee that you will notice something incredible. And then once you find that, you will be addicted and your whole life will change. So, Buddhas, remember, the absolute most important thing, of course, after, breathing, or no, maybe it's more important, I'll let you decide, is to love yourself.